What's up guys, Sal here. So tons of new information about the Galaxy S24 Plus have been revealed, including the Geekbench scores, its battery capacity, screen size, our first real look at the Smart Tag 2, real look at the S23 FE and more. And there's a lot of good things going on in here. You see, just yesterday we got to know the screen size of the S24 Plus, which reveals there's a marginal increase in size compared to last year. And it indicates that the frame will most likely remain the same as last year, but the size of the bezels will decrease to compensate for the increase in display size. And that means the phone will look pretty thanks to those thin bezels. Next, about its battery capacity. The S24 Plus as well as the S24 Ultra appeared in the TÜV certification database, revealing the battery capacities for both devices. And it reveals the S24 Plus will have a rated capacity of 4755 mAh, but the typical capacity will be more than this. It's a common practice in the industry for rated capacities to be smaller than typical ones, so the actual capacity that we'll get is going to be 4900 mAh, which is 200 mAh more than the S23 Plus. And that small increase could make a big difference in providing even better real-life autonomy figures. The S24 Ultra on the other hand will have the same 5000 mAh cell, which is a bummer. There was a report that it could have stacked batteries, but looking at the same numbers, it's unlikely to be the case. Moving on, the S24 Plus also made an appearance on Geekbench for the very first time with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and the phone managed 2233 single-core points and a 6661 multi-core score. This is a massive 34% increase in performance compared to the S23 Plus in multi-core and about 20% in single-core, which is quite impressive. We thought the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is gonna bring minor improvements to the CPU performance, but thankfully that is not the case. The listing also reveals the phone will run Android 14 out of the box and will have 8GB of RAM. There was a report that Samsung might offer a 12GB of RAM variant as well, so here's hopeful that is actually true. By the way, Ice Universe is now confirming that there will be an Exynos 2400 variant as well for the S24 lineup, and like in the past, Samsung will use this chip in Europe and parts of Asia, while the US, Canada and China will get the Snapdragon variant. We still don't know how it's gonna perform, but it better be similar to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, otherwise Samsung is gonna be in a hell of trouble. We also have the live image of the S23 FE, and it confirms that the bezels are indeed gonna be thicker. It resembles the mid-range A54 more than the flagship S23. As for the chip, it will have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 in the US and Canada, and the Exynos 2200 in Europe and parts of Asia. They will launch it within the next couple of months. We also have a first look at the Galaxy Smart Tag 2, and it shows it will have a new design. And to be honest, it looks way better than the first one. The first one had a rounded square design. This one is pill-shaped, and the loop is much larger than before, which would make it easier to put it onto a keychain or anywhere else. They will launch it alongside the S24. Subscribe for more updates, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.